Man, this parody trailer is pretty dang funny. I wonder what it's meant to be a spoof of, though. Nah, that's too obvious. Hello again, YouTube. My name is Sam the Mini Yeti, and I am here to review the latest book from our good friend Scott Tatt, Sapphire Silverlock, The Curse of the Dragon Tattoo. This is the third main installment of the Silverlock Sister series, and also this is kind of the last part of the first trilogy, which, let me tell you, I've been looking forward to this book for a while now. So for the plot of this book, Sapphire Silverlock takes pity on the Silverlock sisters' friend Selena, who also happens to be Sapphire's crush, wink wink, and it turns out the reason why Selena has been grumpy for so long is actually because of the disappearance of her brother's Jaime. No, not that Jaime! So Sapphire decides to help Selena's family investigate Jaime's supposed death and find out that there's something bigger connected than they thought. Sapphire and her sisters also learn about a cult that worships a dragon known as Kreutinger and a mystical tattoo that whoever is marked with that tattoo is marked for death. So yeah, what I did not expect for Scott to go through, or maybe I kind of did for this third book, is that this book kind of has a darker tone than the other books that he did. He still manages to keep it mostly lighthearted for the most part, but because this is the third book in his first trilogy in this series, he decided to go all out. I just happened to catch on that this book happens to be inspired by the plot of a Power Rangers episode that also has a dragon tattoo, but Scott actually made it to where this kind of idea works in itself. I don't want to go too much into the writing because I feel like I covered most of that in the other two reviews that I did. But I kind of wanted to talk about a major theme about this, which is trust. There are moments in this series where heroes and villains are going to have to team up to stop a much bigger threat than both of them combined. And in a situation like this, it's going to be pretty hard. Is one person going to honor the end of the deal? Is the other going to betray the other side? So this book had me on the edge of my seat. And I think this kind of tone works for the third book that Scott wanted to go to. He managed to go a little darker than he used to, but it's not to the point where it's distractingly dark. And if you are a fan of fight sequences, let me tell you, this book has quite a few of them. There are fight sequences with magic, there are fights with technology, sometimes even both, and without spoiling much, there is quite the boss fight at the climax. So I do think that this book series really goes well with the twists, the tone, the characters, and I have to say, I really like the way this is written. Scott has been improving quite a bit since he started. And so for the characters, Sapphire is the star this time around, and let me say, she has been one of my favorites since the series started, and this book does her justice. Not only is she very level-headed, but she knows what to do in a certain situation like this. And also, I love her determination to find some closure on Selena's brother's disappearance, and also just wanting to make Selena happy again. It is such an admirable thing for her to do, and I love that very much about her. Sapphire's sisters, Ruby and Emerald, kinda take a back seat, but it's not to the point where they're not useless. Thankfully, I think they're handled pretty dang good. It is clear one of the focuses of this series are the three sisters as a team, as well as a family. They are just so well written together that honestly, they are a trio that I want to hang out with. And now we go to the second protagonist of this book, Selena. She has been one of my favorite characters since the first book. I always thought she was funny, but still well-meaning, even if she's grumpy. But this book develops her more by giving her more emotions. She actually goes through kind of a physical change. She's a little bit more deep this time. And she actually learns to be more trusting and just try and go with the plan, even if it might go wrong. There's even some moments with Selena that actually made me crack up. She kind of makes me laugh hard for some of this book, which actually surprised me. especially as I typically don't like goth characters. Looking at you, goth kids from South Park. And I'm surprised with how they developed the two villains from the first two books, Draven and his daughter Alice. I always thought Draven had some great character development in the second book, and Alice just straight up had some beef with the Silverlock family in the second book. But this one develops their relationship further by actually make us wonder if Draven truly loves his daughter, and Alice actually questioning his parenting. It's even gone to the point where Alice doesn't even call Draven father anymore and actually starts calling him by his name. Whew. That kind of hits hard a bit. And even Alice has to learn that not all supernatural creatures are evil, which I'm so glad that she did. Of course, Draven and Alice are not the main villains. There are quite a few, but if I have to talk about one, then I have to spoil the book. But I can talk about the other new villain that we got named Cassandra. Oh my goodness, this character! I knew that if we're going to deal with a cult, one of the main villains is going to be the leader, and man, Cassandra is a really great villain. She is delightfully evil, I love her dialogue, and I even kind of get surprised at the length she's going to just to follow what she is worshipping. Cassandra kind of reminds me of a combination of Malaram from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Isaac from Children of the Corn. And I mean that in the best way. If there's one gripe I have to mention, I feel like there are one too many arguments with Alice and Selena, which I get why they do, but I am glad for the most part they do need to work together to accomplish their goal. Part of me wants to say this book goes a little too long, but everything that has gone on in this book is so good that I honestly can't complain a little too much. But besides that, this book is so dang good. This might be one of the best books Scott has written in his series so far. But I know it's not the last, and I'm actually really glad that if he's going to do a trilogy, the third book definitely went off on a big bang. So I am not afraid to give this book a 9.5 ice cubes out of 10. So great job, Scott Tatt, for writing this book, and I can't wait for more books in this series. And thanks to everyone for checking out this video. This has been Sam the Mini Yeti, and I can't wait for more books in the series. So until next time, I will see you all in the next video. So see you later, folks, and stay cool!